was thinking about a couple of what I consider to be watershed years in U.S. history. And I was thinking about, the first year was 1945, and I thought, well, that's certainly pivotal, in many respects. But another year came to mind, and the year that I'm thinking of as well is 1979. It seemed like there was a lot of things going on. I really wanted to kind of discern what was the greater watershed, 1945 or 1979, and I couldn't make a very good case for either, I'm afraid.
They're different. 1945 represents America the triumphant. The appearance of the United States as the global superpower, one of two global hegemons. It's very important. It represents this period until 1979. Apart from the Soviet Union, that this is the dominant global player. 1979 is important because it represents the emergence of militant Islam as an alternative to both global socialism, Marxist, Leninist, Soviet-led nonsense, whether it be Soviet or Chinese Marxist, the Marxist world, what was until then known as the Second World. The United States was still a global power, but 1979 represented the emergence of this third way. The Iranian Revolution, the discontent fomented because of the Camp David Accords with Egypt, between Egypt and Israel, that resulted in Saddam being killed a year and a half later or so, something like that. I forget when. It was October '81, I think, he was shot. He was killed. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, of course, helped to catalyze that movement toward a militant Islam as an answer. But also significantly, there's a revitalization of the West that occurs in 1979 that I think is really important and really fascinating, because starting in the 1960s, there was a slight decline. Socialism, the Marxist world, was beginning to sort of take over. Remember, Khrushchev was going to bury the West in 1979. It was important because that trend was reversed in 1979. Look at the horrible failures suffered by the West after 1954, basically. 1953, U.S. fights to a stalemate only in Korea, not a big win. Dien Bien Phu in 1954, a striking French defeat. 1962, collapse of Algeria. The French, again, turned tail and run from Algeria, taking 1 million French colonists with them. 69, I believe, or 68, yeah, off the top of my head. 69 is the collapse of British Aden and the evacuation of Aden. And then, of course, 1975 was probably the worst. That was the bottom of the barrel for the West. That was the West retreating before the socialist world. The fall of Saigon, the fall of Cambodia, the fall of Laos to the communists, and then the fall as well of Angola, Portuguese collapse in Angola, Portuguese Empire collapse. So 1979 is also the renewal of the West with Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher breathes new hope into the belief in the West and belief in conservative values, which then she's joined by Ronald Reagan the next year, and we have a renewed renaissance of the West. So I think 79 is pivotal for lots of reasons.
Okay.